further ado, I'm going to bring in the guy who's ready, and he's ready to get into the ring with Big Sills. Ladies and gentlemen, the current middleweight champion of the world who hosts and co-hosts Birds 365, it is, without further ado, Zander Krause.
What's up, Big Sills?
Hey, man, what didn't you like that I said?
You said a lot of really dumb stuff in that segment with Mark Holmes, my friend.
One thing off the top.
First thing off the top, we'll get into the passer comments, which are just stupid in their own right. Secondly,
you have no proof.
You have to beat the Cowboys.
You have nothing to back up the fact that
no, stop. You have to beat the Cowboys. Dan, we've been to the Super Bowl 2 times in the last 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those years, we were 1-1 versus the Dallas Cowboys.
You have to win your division first.
You don't have to win your division to get to the Super Bowl.
You've never gone to the Super Bowl without winning your division.
Okay, that doesn't, you can go 1-1. You're saying I have to sit here and beat the Cowboys. No, I don't. That's not how you quantify a winning
beating the
season.
Cowboys. You have to be able to beat that team because that's the team you have to first. Zander, when you build a team, you're not building it to beat the Niners. You're building it to beat the teams in the NFC East because that's your first and foremost thing you have to do is win the East.
So you're projecting the Cowboys win 5 games.
You may never play them until you get to the conference title game, but you're going to play the Cowboys twice.
Dan, get into the dance. I don't give a shit who you beat or what you do to the Dallas Cowboys. That's the same mentality the Dallas. That's the same mentality the Dallas Cowboys have had for the last 30 years, and that's why they don't have anything to show for it. What's that?
Got to beat your division opponents before you can do anything when it comes to the playoffs.
Get into the dance, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
You getting into the dance has never resulted in you getting to the Super Bowl.
Twice. I play them twice.
Never went to the Super Bowl not winning your division.
Okay, what's your point?
Just getting to the dance doesn't get you there.
That's not true. If you get into the playoffs,
you've never done it in the 60 years of football since the Super Bowl era.
And the Cowboys haven't won jock shit in 30 years. You keep telling me how great Dak Prescott's record is.
You're talking to me about something you've never done.
No, because you're telling me I have to beat the Cowboys. Ask the Cowboys how they feel. You're right. They've beaten the Eagles a lot with Dak Prescott. What has that gotten them? What have the Dallas Cowboys gotten out of beating the Philadelphia Eagles more times than not?
You've never gone to an NFC championship game.
Okay, so you're assuming that we can't do something you haven't done before, which is just not true at all.
That's right. Hey, let's just hope that one day we get there and that if we don't win the division, maybe we'll get to a Super Bowl from a wild card spot. Okay.
Last I checked, beating the Dallas Cowboys doesn't raise a banner.
I'm talking about the Eagles. And I'm saying that you have never done any of that in your history, but now you all of a sudden you don't have to win your division or you don't have to beat your division.
I didn't say you don't even need to beat the Cowboys twice to win your division. You can win the division. You could lose both games to the Cowboys and win the division. This is a team that you're projecting is going to win 5 games. By the way, the Cowboys are going to be better than a 5-win team, but it doesn't matter. They could win. Let's say they do win 5 games and they beat the Eagles twice. We can still win the division. Okay. Yeah. Regular season wins versus the Dallas Cowboys are as good as a regular season loss to the Arizona Cardinals.
You have nothing to stand on with facts on that. Nothing.
I don't think you have any facts either.
I do too. You've never gone to an NFC title game from a wild card. You've never gone to a Super Bowl from a wild card. You have to win your division.
You don't have to. You are saying
you've never done it.
Okay. What is it impossible to do it?
You've never done it.
What am I missing? You're just saying we've never done it.
What are you missing? You've never done something that you're saying that you can do. You have never gone you have never gone anywhere not winning your division. Do you know the Eagles have never gone to the Super Bowl without having home field advantage either?
Okay, so do you need to beat the Dallas Cowboys twice to win your division?
I think you have to at least split.
Okay, split. Great. We've split every year for the last how many years?
That's beating Dallas.
Okay, one time. I'm not worried about beating Dallas is my point. Our our sights are set on way bigger things than a dumb regular season victory over the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry's world. I could give a shit.
You got to win. You first have to take care of business in your division. When you draft, when you sign free agents, it's about winning your division first so you get a home field game at minimum, potentially a bye.
Okay, great. You're talking about I'm talking about beating the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
You don't need to beat the Dallas Cowboys.
You can't go 0-2. You won't win your division if you go 0-2 versus Dallas.
Why?
Because you never have.
Okay, you're conflating multiple things.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you what you've done in your careers.
Okay, you can lose to the Dallas Cowboys and still win the NFC
So you
East.
think you can go 0-2 and win the NFC East?
Sure, if you win the other 4 games versus the NFC opponents.
What was the other? Okay, well, I'm not going to. Okay, what was the other thing
you have 2 games versus the Giants and 2 games versus the Commanders. You also have 12 other games to play in the NFL. This isn't just a season where you play the Cowboys a bunch of times.
I'm not debating this. How about this? What's the other thing you thought was you didn't like?
You're hell-bent on the passer stats. I don't give a shit.
Because the passer stat in the criteria to winning Super Bowls is not a dual threat guy.
Okay, ask Dan Marino what he thinks about that. Ask our friend of the show, Warren Moon, one of the greatest passers
Name me
of
one guy that has
football.
done that.
I'm saying those guys haven't won Super Bowls, and they're the greatest throwers of the football the league has ever seen.
But those are the guys that are in the Super Bowl every year.
There's a lot more to the game.
But those are the guys that are in the Super Bowl every year.
Okay, the Eagles.
That criteria is in the Super Bowl every year.
The Eagles
not a guy who has
ago.
900 yards rush. No, there's no sample size to that.
The Eagles were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Nobody has ever won the Super Bowl with that criteria.
Okay, we came in between within a play of winning the Super Bowl, and now you're telling me that we can't.
Nobody has won the Super Bowl since 1966 with that criteria.
That's not true.
Who has? Hey,
it's also a way different game now.
Is the most with 6 rushing touchdowns. Nobody has won.
Yeah, and look at the top 900 yards in the league now of what they were 20, 30 years ago. You're comparing different eras of football.
Really? Who were the quarterbacks that were in the Super Bowl this last year? Were they dual threat or were they drop back?
Well, they're drop back. Who was in it the year before?
Okay. Okay, let's do this. That's a good point. You want to go back to the Super Bowl the last 15 years, and I'll show you one guy, Hurts.
Okay, great. And he was within a play of winning the Super Bowl.
Oof.
Wait. Back to the point, though. Dak Prescott's a better passer. How many Super Bowl appearances does that jerk off have? 0.
I didn't say that. I said that's the criteria that you build team. Do you think there's any coincidence that every single guy in the league right now, when they're looking at the top guys in the league, Hurts ain't in one of the top guys because they don't look at him as the guy that's going to lead a team to a Super Bowl because he doesn't fit the Super Bowl criteria. And here it is, 4,200 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, about 150 yards rushing. Those are the guys that consist. It is true.
So the players in the NFL that
you're trying to make an argument for something that doesn't exist.
The players who line up across Jalen Hurts right now in the NFL say he's a better football player than Dak Prescott, and you want to say no because Dak can fit the ball in a window a little bit better.
What did he do last year better than Dak?
I think he did plenty better in the last couple of years. What? He's a winner.
He didn't win more games. They won the East. He led the NFL in passing yards. He had 9 picks, and he was second in the MVP voting. What did he do better than Dak Prescott a year ago? He didn't win
more.
The
year before that, what did Dak do better than Jalen?
Okay. In the career, when it comes to how he throws the ball, and plus versus, what did he do? I mean,
you're missing my point.
No, you're missing the point that you think Dak Prescott is a lesser quarterback than Jalen when that guy's got every single talented guy around him and he's got one wideout.
Okay, great. And what's that done for him? And what does Dak Prescott have to show for that? What does Dak have to show for it? Hurts at least has won the NFC. At least. Dak Prescott barely got a playoff win. My point is there's a lot more to this game than being a good passer. Dak Prescott's a great passer. Cool.
Then how come the great passers are the ones that are being paid the most? Okay. Like you just gave Trevor Lawrence $55 million. I wouldn't consider him a scooter. You just gave Jared Goff $53 million. I wouldn't consider him a guy who's going to get out there on a scooter. You just gave a guy in Justin Herbert $54 million. I wouldn't think that guy's out on a scooter.
Dan,
I mean, come on, dog.
You are leaving out so much context. It is out. It is unbelievable how much context.
I'm totally right. Here, let's do this. Let's take
Lamar Jackson's making $52 million a year. Jalen Hurts is making $51 million a year. Kyler Murray's making $46 million a year. Deshaun Watson's making $46 million a year. Josh Allen is not a dual threat guy. $43 million a year. What are you talking about?
Deshaun Watson is not a dual threat guy.
Deshaun Watson uses his legs. Yes, he does.
He's most he's ever rushed.
I watched him win a national championship with his legs. He is. He's a good thrower, but what does that get you?
Let's take a look at. I completely, once again, 1,000% disagree with this thing. Let's take a look at this. 2 drop back quarterbacks last year, Mahomes and Purdy. You had 1 dual threat guy and a drop back guy the year before. The year before that, you had 2 drop back guys in Burrow and Stafford. The year before that, you had 2 drop back guys in Mahomes and Brady. The year before that, you had a drop back guy in Mahomes, and you had a drop back guy in Garoppolo. Year before that, you had a drop back guy, and you had Stafford, another drop back, or Goff, another drop back guy. Year before that, you had Brady, and you had Matt Ryan, another 2 drop back guys. I could go on and on with this.
Okay, great. And you're moving further away from the era of football that we're in right now.
Actually, there's only one guy in the last 6 years that fits that criteria.
There are more starting quarterbacks in the NFL right now that have that dual threat pedigree than there ever has been in the history of the league. 100%.
Jalen Hurts beats teams over 500 last year. Dak didn't beat Buffalo, KC, Miami. Nobody beat the tar out of you. Okay.
Great.
What else did you have a problem with?
Let me go by the regular. Oh wait, where's your little thing? This is mine. This is what I'll give Dak Prescott. This is a little cup phone from WeatherTech. This is the trophy I'll give Dak Prescott.
You're not paid on going to the NFL. No, your guy's the only quarterback ever to get paid going to a Super Bowl. The rest of these guys get paid on what they do in the regular season. Trevor Lawrence ain't getting paid on what he did being 0-1 in the playoffs.
What about Kyler Murray?
What about Lamar
Jackson? What about Lamar Jackson?
He beat the Rams.
What about Lamar Jackson?
49ers, and they won 11 ball games.
What about Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson has never been paid for the postseason.
That's my point.
No. You're not paid for the postseason, but yet you bring that up for Dak's going to make $60 million.
Okay, and
your guy's the only guy that gets paid for the postseason because his stats are very mediocre to below average.
38 touchdowns last year, dude. What are you
28?
38.
Oh my God, I forgot the running stuff, which doesn't matter.
So you're telling me don't pay him off the regular season, but he had 38 touchdowns in the regular season.
Doesn't matter.
That's your opinion.
You're damn right. You're damn right, because the quarterbacks who spread the ball around and win from the pocket are the guys who are going to win the Super Bowls.
Okay, wait a second. Let's go back to
I completely disagree with this conversation. And I've been that way for 3 years on Hurts. You're never going to win with a dual threat guy. Just you believe the other way. We'll see it.
Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl. Let's go back to the Super Bowl.
Holy cow. Here we go 2 years ago.
Patrick Mahomes threw for 182 yards.
How about going to the last playoff game he played?
304 yards. You know what?
How about going to the last playoff game he played? That's recent history.
Okay, and we lost. Go back to Dak Prescott's recent playoff game. He got obliterated by a first-year starter in Jordan Love.
So what's the point you're making?
I'm saying that there's so much more context that you are leaving out. Winning in football, going deep into the playoffs is not about how good of a passer you are.
Okay.
Like I said, go ask Warren Moon. Go ask Jim Kelly. Go ask Dan Marino.
You're missing what I'm saying about the criteria.
No, you are happy.
The criteria is Jim Kelly.
You're saying that Dak Prescott's better than Jalen Hurts because he can pass.
I'm saying he's a better passer than Hurts by far.
Okay, so you take your better passer. I'll take the guy that continues to win playoff games and has a better playoff record in 3 years than Dak has in 9 years.
You hang with him. and you'll keep getting your 23 touchdowns, and you'll keep winning some really decent games.
You'll
never win a Super Bowl with that style of play.
You say all this stuff about Jalen Hurts.
You'll never win with that style of play.
You've now appointed Dak Prescott, this unbelievable passer.
No,
I have not. Number one offense in the NFL.
I said he's better.
What did he do with the number one offense in the NFL?
What have you done with all that shit last year?
Dan,
what did you do with it?
This is not quantified.
What's the money you paid last year for all that stuff? $170 million for a huddle. And you know what you did? You got blown out by a team who could score more than 10 points against the Bucs. What are you paying for?
I'm paying for the guy that led us to a Super Bowl.
Okay.
Within a hair length of winning the Super Bowl, threw up 300 plus yards, and had a near perfect passer rating in the Super Bowl. You are leaving out every piece of context that doesn't fit your narrative.
The context is he lost.
And Dak Prescott does the same thing every single year.
I can't. You're moving the chain.
Death, taxes, and the Cowboys
losing. Are we talking about Hurts? Or are we? You go back. The only game you can go back to is that Super Bowl game that he lost.
Hurts has 3 years of starting. Dak has 9.
And in those 9 years, he's never even remotely touched what Dak has done in the pocket. Nothing.
Okay. So you take your pocket and you enjoy your pocket.
You take your total offense guy, and we'll see where you are at the end of this year.
Who has more meaningful success in the NFL? Jalen Hurts or Dak Prescott?
We'll see who
has more meaningful success in the NFL.
We shall see where you are at the end of this year.
Answer the question, Dan.
You got people saying he can't read defenses. Okay?
Holy moly.
No, really. Greg Cosell says he struggles reading defenses.
Okay, so I'll take the guy that struggled reading defenses, but led me to the damn Super Bowl over the dude that you think is the greatest passer in the world. Let me get this right.
So he's in Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's in Jake Delhomme's league. Those guys led teams to Super Bowls too.
This is a joke.
How about this? Wait, Colin Kaepernick led a team to a Super Bowl. So is he great too?
I think he's better than Dak. He's more success in the league than Dak has.
Where is he now?
Dak Prescott, he's Sam Bradford to me.
Jalen Hurts is the better version of
you have a good arm. You have a great arm. You can throw it good.
Hey,
cool.
Jalen Hurts is a better version of Tyrod Taylor to me.
Oh yeah, Tyrod Taylor led his team to a Super Bowl, right? That must have slipped my memory when he did that.
Let me. Okay, well, let me give you one of those guys that will fit the bill here for him. Kaepernick, yeah, he's Kaepernick. That's who Hurts is. He's Kaepernick.
You're not even making sense, brother. And normally you do make sense because you're talking yourself.
Because you don't like what you're hearing? That's too bad. I don't really care.
I'm fine with dissenting viewpoints on what I have. But you're not making sense.
Zander, sense is, I'm telling you that guy is not a better pocket passer than Hurts. And that's the criteria that these quarterbacks and teams are made on. That's why you draft them.
Okay, so is that what you want to win? You want to win the trophy for whoever has the best passing quarterback in the league? Is that what you're trying to win? Because I'm trying to win a Super Bowl.
Hey, let me know when you're done on this because I would like to get to something else here.
Okay, I'm trying to win a Super Bowl. You can take your passing trophies. They don't get me anything.
Okay.
Just like they haven't gotten Dak anything in 9 years in the NFL with the number 1 ranked offense twice. Doesn't get you anything. There's a lot more to the game than that.
We'll see what he does this year.
We will see.
Oh, yeah, because I saw what he did a year ago with the same talent pretty much. Oh, yeah, I forgot. It's the coordinators. But now he's got Dak Prescott's coordinator. Okay. So it was Dak's fault in Dallas, not Kellen's fault for all those failures in the postseason. It was Dak's fault. Well, we'll find out if this is really what it is. It's either going to be Kellen's going to help him and get Jalen to a Super Bowl, or Kellen sucks as a coordinator.
Right. It's good to know that your barometer for success and how to quantify
it's by the quarterback's success.
No, it's not. It's by how good of a passer they are. And that's not how you can quantify success, especially in the modern NFL.
That's how you're paid.
What do you mean? Jalen's making
like you said, $52 million. Kyler Murray, what's he done in the postseason? He got $47 million.
What's Jalen Hurts done in the postseason? He's got 52.
Nothing. He's 2-3. He's won an NFC. Got to hand that to him.
Okay.
But the rest of the guy,
he went to the Super Bowl. What has
Trevor Lawrence is 0-1. Trevor Lawrence is 0-1 and makes more.
Dak Prescott has done 0 in the playoffs in his career. 0.
And he's going to make $60 million based on what he does against the Eagles.
Okay, great. Pay him it. Sure. That doesn't mean you're going to win a Super Bowl. That doesn't mean you're a better
your guy
player.
is either. That's the point. Doesn't mean your guy is either.
At least my guy's been there in 3 years starting. Dak Prescott's taken
Jalen
9,
Kaepernick.
and he still hasn't even gotten close.
There's
he
my
hasn't
new
even,
name.
He hasn't even sniffed getting out of the second round. He won a wild card game, I think, once or twice. Congratulations, Dak.
Jalen Kaepernick. That's
very
my new name.
Very fitting for the Cowboys to parade around a
Jalen Kaepernick. All right.
One Super Bowl appearance in 3 years is worse than 0 in 9. Okay. So
last year he sucked.
Okay, great. 6 games. Let me quantify an entire career and an entire player.
18 turnovers
on 6 games.
18 turnovers.
What a joke.
All right. What? You're saying that's not true either?
I didn't say that wasn't true. I said you're not going to quantify a quarterback based on 6 bad games where the entire team looked like dog shit.
Okay. All right.
Nobody bashed Hurts for that end of the year more than me. I ripped Jalen Hurts for the end of the last year. I ripped him for it. But I'm not going to forget the context that he took us to the Super Bowl, that I watched him with my own 2 eyes march down the field and destroy the Kansas City defense over and over again. He made one mistake in the entire ball game and it cost us the game. One mistake. Other than that, he was perfect that day throwing the ball. Perfect.
Besides dropping it on the carpet, too.
That's what I said. He made one mistake in the game.
And let me say something about getting teams to Super Bowls and winning it. You had a guy in the building winning a Super Bowl too, Foles. Dumped him. I mean,
yeah, and how'd that work out?
The guy being consistent is a guy that's going to think that you're going to be able to win on a consistent basis, game in and game out, and week in and week out. You didn't believe in Foles to do that because you had Wentz. Well, Wentz was more of the guy. Yeah, the organization went like this. We don't believe Nick Foles can win on a week-to-week basis over Wentz.
Last time the Eagles chose the passing talent over the winner, they got rid of him a year later and drafted Jalen Hurts to replace him. They made that mistake already. They took the $38 million cap hit to move on from that guy. Okay. I bet you if they're thinking back on it, they wish they did keep Foles for another year. Because, by the way, the next year he led us right back to the playoffs. And if it wasn't for a double doink, we would have been in the NFC title game again.
I'm going to stay consistent with how I look at your guy. Okay? And I'm going to be there like I have been for 3 years.
You justified my point with that last comment.
You know,
Nick Foles is not the most talented quarterback in the league. Nick Foles is not the best passer in the league. It takes a lot more than that to win.
If you didn't have a passer, you're not beating Brady.
That's fair. But that was the nature of that game. Would you make that comment about the loss we had to the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl 2 years ago?
I would say this to you that
Hurts nearly doubled.
I thought the Eagles nutted up on both sides of the ball in the fourth quarter. You had defensive secondary guys running in on one another when you had a coordinator and Reed doing crossing routes, and on the other side of the ball you got conservative. Late in the game, do you understand that Patrick Mahomes was down 10 points in both Super Bowls and came back to win them? Yeah, by the way, came back to win them because he throws the ball.
And largely aided by the fumble, which I've knocked Jalen Hurts for because I'm not omitting context. But I did see him throw the ball all over the yard that day when he needed to, when the lights were the brightest. Something I've yet to see Dak Prescott do. Back to the original point, you parading around how good of a passer Dak is with 0 success to show for it. I don't care. He's a good passer. It doesn't move the needle for me. You're right. Hurts had a bad year last year. It sucks. Let's move on. But at least I've seen success. At least he's took me to the Super Bowl. At least he threw 300+ yards in the lights.
I think that taking once again, Zander, you're looking at him taking it's an accomplishment. But I can name you stiffs that took teams to his Super Bowls. I can name you big stiffs, absolute stiffs.
Okay, and
it's a team accomplishment getting a team to the Super Bowl. It's not an individual accomplishment.
And I can name you great passers that have never won shit in this league.
That's why they get paid and who they are. Dan Marino, 7-9 in the postseason. However, the reason you build a team around that is because that's the criteria that helps you get there and stay in the room with AFC title games. Okay, when you say Kelly didn't win a Super, he got there 4 times. That's the criteria. It's still the criteria. Hurts in the last 10 years is the only one that's in that room next to Kaepernick. It's Kaepernick and him.
We'll see how
those are your 2 sample sizes.
It's a different NFL now. We'll see how the next 10 years goes.
3 years ago, it was Burrow and Mahomes.
Yeah, it's
4 years ago, 3 years ago, excuse me, it was Brady and Stafford. 2 years ago, it was Burrow and Mahomes. That hasn't changed.
I know, but it's a different league now, Sills. It's a different league now, Sills. There's different
2 years. Okay, then it's a different league for Hurts too, then, right? So you're saying that more people are going to draft dual threat guys, and they're not going to be looking for the drop back guy, even though Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams are drop back dudes.
Jaden Daniels is not a drop back dude.
Okay. How many yards did he have rushing? Like, he threw for 6,000
yards. Of the football. He's a good thrower of the football, but to say he's a drop back quarterback.
You think Caleb Williams is a runner?
Caleb Williams is more of a drop back quarterback, but he also has a dual threat skill set.
Jalen Daniels 2023 stats at LSU. I actually don't know that. Because, he threw for 38-14.
There's a lot more context, is my point, that goes into this. A lot more. And for you to
but you're making it sound like it's all on your side, and it's not.
No, I'm saying that just because you're a good passer doesn't mean shit. Just like Jalen Hurts is dual threat, that doesn't really mean shit either. Winning games when the lights are brightest is what it means. I've seen it from Hurts. I've never seen it from Dak. The case is closed. He's Sam Bradford.
Sam Bradford?
Yes, that's what he is to me.
Okay. Well, in my opinion, he's a blown-up version of Tyrod Taylor.
That's how I look at Hurts. Sam Bradford never won shit. Dak Prescott never won shit.
That's how I look at him.
Tyrod Taylor never won shit. Jalen Hurts has won shit.
I always look at him that way. Trying to figure out rushing here.
Talk to me when Tyrod Taylor makes a Super Bowl and throws for 300+ yards and a near perfect
pass. Here, let me just get Kaepernick out. Jalen Kaepernick. That's what I'll say. Jalen Kaepernick. Let's see what he had.
I understand your point, but I think you're leaving out too much context.
Let's get to some good stuff here.
Good. Hit me with it.
This is the first week of my observations talking to some of the guys around there. And this goes with, let's start with Hurts. Last 2 days, obviously, I think that there's been an issue because of the influx of the offensive line. There's been guys like Landon and Landon Dickerson, Lane, and also Steen being out. I don't think that they were as consistent the last 2 days, but the one thing is definite is that they are trying to spread the ball around, and there is no question that they want him to be a progression reader and having more options than he's had in the last 3 years. Is that your takeaway on this?
What?
Is that they're trying to give him more options. Okay? They're trying to give him more options.
UPN focused and get the fuck out of here. Nobody's asking you to be here. Nobody's begging for your viewership. Thanks for the $5. Move the fuck on, my dude. By the way, we missed Shonsky. Let me go to him. Dak had Cooper, Lamb, and Gallup along with Zeke in his prime and lost first game in the playoff. He's had weapons. Yeah, it's a good point. Prince Swayze checks in. This segment's great. Next round. I just want to hit these super chats. Right, Dave Foles was RPO QB and changed offense for him. Nice. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate the super chat.
Do you agree on Hurts?
What, that they're trying to make him?
They're trying to have more options.
I think they're trying to add to his game. I think they're trying to bring up the other parts of his game where he's not polished yet. And that's what I think Kellen Moore is going to bring. He's certainly going to have to spread the ball around a little bit more this year. He's got the talent. They got the I think the offensive coordinator to work that part of his game up a little bit better. I mean, remember, Shane Steichen was great for Jalen Hurts, but Shane Steichen also didn't push Jalen Hurts to get out of his comfort zone. He kept, you talk about the problems, your problems with Jalen Hurts as more of a dual threat guy. Shane Steichen kept him in that role. Shane never wanted him to be bigger than he was. And in a way, that was great, but there's limitations to that. Kellen's going to rip that Band-Aid off and force him to be better, and I think that's a good thing for Hurts.
Hey, Prince, you're right. I didn't realize that he rushed the ball that much. So Daniels did run the ball a lot when he was at LSU last year. So you're right on that one. Let's go to Barkley here. There's no question they want him on the field. Pass protection, pass options, passing game. I'm starting to think that they're starting to define his role, at least in the first week, Xander. You're starting to see that he's going to be a guy that, to me, like I said, he's going to be around that 950 mark, 500 receiving, 15 total touchdowns, but he's going to give you about 100 yards in total offense every game. You get somebody like that on the football field when you've got two wide receivers like you do and a tight end that could get you 60 yards, you're going to be almost unbelievably difficult to defend.
You talking about Saquon, or did you say Dallas Goedert?
I'm talking about Barkley.
Yeah, Saquon should be big. I mean, I think he's going to have a big year. I made a bet, and for everybody, I want everybody to hear this. This morning on Birds 365, we made a pledge to the people. So every time Saquon Barkley eclipses 125 all-purpose yards in a game, we're going to give away a Saquon Barkley jersey to a member on the channel. So it's more because John is not high on Saquon Barkley. So that's how it evolved and how it came to be. So, if he does that, Dan, he's going to have over 2,000 all-purpose yards. We'll see what he's able to do. I'm not as high. I mean, I just don't think the Eagles are going to use him like I think people think they're going to use him. But he is running behind a way better offensive line than he had in New York. He's got way more weapons, so teams don't have to isolate and focus on him. I think he's going to have a good year. We'll see how good, though, and how much they use him. But 125 plus yards, we're giving out Saquon jerseys like candy, baby.
Hey, Damon, you're missing the point. 950 yards at 6 yards a carry, and you're also getting another 30 receiving. You're talking about a guy with 120 yards in total offense. That's how I think they're going to utilize him, like they did Tony Pollard in Dallas, because that's what he did. By the way, my aunt watches the show, and I just saw something. Betty, Big Sills never gets offended. It's a great segment. I don't like pussies, so don't worry, honey. We're okay. Everything's fine. Are you crazy?
Is Betty in here? Is she in the chat?
I'm not going to tell you who. I think you can. Hey, wait a minute. I'm going to tell you. Hold on. Hey, wait a minute. I'm going to tell you. Bet, it's all good.
Sorry, Aunt Betty. I had to rip Sills because he talked shit on my quarterback.
There.
Don't worry, Aunt Betty.
There you go.
Don't worry, Aunt Betty. I
just told you who it is.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Let's go to the O-line. You ready?
I'm ready.
Landon, Lane, Steen, all nicked up. Here's something that I'm a little concerned about. So you go out and you make a move on the open market, Xander, and you bring a guy in. Are you not happy with the people you have on the roster right now? I mean, now look, it's July 31st. I'm not going psycho here on it. But, I mean, where's Trevor Keegan? Where's some of the other guys? Are you not, there's no Jack Driscoll on this team now. I see Driscoll got hurt in Tampa, though, by the way, the other day.
Yeah.
So are you concerned about this?
Yeah, it's definitely something we're not really used to in Philly. I mean, we've had a good offensive line for a lot of years now. I think we've been top 10 for the last 12 years in running. So I'm not really, I mean, John brought up a good point about this where, what does this tell you that they've signed another guy? Does it tell you they don't like the guys they signed and Max Sharping and Matt Hennessy? Is the Landon Dickerson injury a bigger thing than they're leading on for you to believe? Do they not like what they're seeing from Tyler? I don't know.
They might want to get head of the stick, Xander, on this because, I mean, I think it's all of it. I think it's all of it.
They don't have a shortage of bodies, those Sills. That's what I was confused about. Like, they have pretty good bodies in there now, and they're acting like, the Dickerson injury is not much. Maybe it is. Maybe there is some. Maybe they do think it's a little bit deeper, and that's why they're adding guys to the room. But it's definitely a little concerning. And you're also reading that we had Brandon Lee Gouton on this morning, and then obviously John McMullen, who was on with, every day with Birds 365. These are two guys who were down there at practice every single day, consuming everything, not reading reports, not watching hearsay. They're watching it with their own two eyes. Both of them said the best position group on the team right now is the defensive line because they're terrorizing the practice. I mean, is that a credit to the D-line, which I think it is, or does that show that we have some concerns here with the offensive line? And you don't see that often with our offensive line getting beat like that Jalen had his worst day of camp, not yesterday, but the day before that. And I talked to John on the phone. He wasn't able to do a show, but I talked to John. He's like, don't make much of it. It's not on Jalen Hurts. He was under, fire all day right away. So he was a lot of, rolling out, getting rid of the football. He didn't really have a chance to go through his progressions. The offensive line was getting torched. Now you are missing those guys. So maybe it's that, but definitely uncharted territory for us in terms of, maybe some shakiness at the offensive line as we go into the year. I'm not sold on this Tyler Steen guy. I'll say that.
It doesn't seem, I remember Barrett, what he said about him.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be really durable and really like a tough guy in there. Remember, that was one of his concerns that he had when he was doing shows for us. He was like, I don't know, man. I've seen the guy, and, when you read the reports on him, he's injury prone a little bit too. So,
yeah,
he basically didn't want to call him soft, but he was
like that Wally kept right here too, by the way.
So we were like, a little bit. By the way, you're right. JAKIB is not for snowflakes.
No, it's not.
So you better buckle up when you roll in here. By the way, guys, keep hitting the like button. You're killing it. You're almost at 240 right now. We appreciate that very much.
By the way, did you hear John's comments on Bryce Huff?
Yeah, I'm going to get to him in a second here.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. I got this stuff from Clint Hurt. I'll tell you what he said about Milton Williams. Dude, you can drop him in a 3 technique, a 5 technique, a 7 technique, and he's as versatile as it gets. He's having a pretty good camp, man.
Can you explain to me what a 7 technique is?
Wide 7 is out wide of the okay, you have 2 offensive tackles. Okay? And you're outside, that's a 5 technique. When you put them out wide, you're putting them out there to make sure that you set the edges. But they rush, and you're forcing those offensive linemen to have to fan block out wide, and you put those guys in wide 7s. Michael Parsons lines up sometimes.
A lot. Yep, gotcha.
So you're lined up way out wide. You're forcing that tackle to have to get out there, and you run a game off that tackle guard stunt, and you bring a linebacker or a free safety or strong safety up that guard center.
Now, is that mostly used on passing downs, I guess? Because you obviously don't. Yeah, you're right. You don't want to create obviously running lanes. So, okay, gotcha.
But that's good to hear. Let me tell you what he said about Jordan Davis.
Well, real quick, let me just answer on Milton Williams. I do think he's going to be a great player. I think it's weird they haven't gotten the contract done. Maybe it's from the player side where he's like, let me bet on myself here. I know I'm going to have a bigger role. I'll maybe get more money coming out of this year, but I do think he's a great player. He was one of Howie's better picks. I think he was I forget. Was
third round.
Third rounder? Yeah. I mean, and there wasn't too much. I think it was Louisiana Tech was he drafted out of?
Yep.
Yeah, and so to see him come on, I think is a very positive thing. He's also really bulked up. You can tell he's more built like an NFL guy. When he came in, he was a little smaller, and he definitely looks the part now. So I'm excited for his role. I think he's going to be a big player on this team, and he's going to have a big role in the rotation. So he's going to have to be good.
Here's what Clint said about Jordan Davis. Talent's there, and what you were saying. Yeah. Get this. Talent's there, feet, physical dominance. He asked me again, my assessment. I go, I think he's probably going to play great in the first 6 games. And then he goes, what's your concern? And I said, how big is his gas can? I mean, how big is that gas can?
And we're not going to
learn that gas can going to be empty in week 13, 14? Because I need him from 14 to 17 to win championships. It's one thing, Zander, to have your front 4 guys playing great for the first part of the college season. But I need you in the back end of the football NFL season from week 13 on. That's when you're going to win Super Bowl. So, Mike, the question mark for him is really going to be all about how big is the gas can in the second half.
Yeah, and we're not going to learn that until the games play.
Not until we get in. And you know what? He's going to get out to a great start.
Yeah, and even the other day in practice, there was reports coming in like Jalen Hurts or Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis. Sorry, he blew up the first play of practice, and I was talking about it on the recap, and one dude was like, "First play of practice. I'm not worried about the first play. I'm worried about the 40th play." And I'm like, good point. So we're gonna have to see it from him. He's definitely got the talent, those skills. I understand the knock on him, and I understand the pressure on him. And 13th overall, he's got to produce, and I definitely understand that, but I hope he can get it together with the conditioning, because I think he has it inside of him. When you see that guy and you like, I met him in person, I'm like, that's a motherfucker. That's an NFL defensive tackle. And that's how he looks to me. That doesn't mean anything. You obviously have to put it together on the field. Just because you look the part doesn't mean you are the part. And we'll see. I hope he can do it. I think he's going to do it. This is going to be his year, though, to prove it. By the way, in a way, it's a contract year for him. It's not fully, but it kind of is.
This is when they like to get those deals done.
Exactly. Look at Devontae Smith, was drafted the year before. After this season, I know they have the 5th-year option, so they could default to that. But if Jordan's good and Howie likes to get those deals done early, I think he's going to go for that contract this year. But Jordan's going to have to prove it in order to get that.
Bryce Huff. It's like he's MIA. I've not heard his name for an entire week. There's not even any splash plays. There's not anything where there's a wow play like a year ago when Reddick, or 2 years ago when Reddick was there. They were like, man, you got to see this guy get around the horn. This guy can pass rush. There's just nothing about him. Now, once again, I'm going to say this. It's July 31st. Am I freaking out? No. If we're talking 3 weeks from now and we still haven't heard shit, there's probably going to be a problem here with this. But what's your takeaway when you hear that, people that are covering this are saying, and, I asked him about Huff. He's like, I know they're situationally, and, Vic's putting him in certain situations. He's not even really getting reps on first and second down.
Yeah.
And plus the only thing you've heard, Zander, is Vic trashing him.
Definitely concerning. You're right. The only news we've gotten out of Bryce Huff this entire camp has been that Vic Fangio said he's not a 3-down player. And we just gave the guy $51 million. John McMullen, who was probably the guy who was the most high on him as a beat reporter, from more of an objective point of view, has said, he's like, I'm not ready to sound the alarm yet, but I have seen basically nothing from Bryce Huff. Hasn't gotten around anybody, hasn't made a move on anybody, not getting around, not making plays. He hasn't been terrible, but you're paid to make plays, especially when you get that type of contract, and you're replacing a guy like Hassan Reddick. So if he doesn't produce, Hills, we got a problem, because that whole pass rush is in a way hinging on him. Now, I think his life's going to be easier in the games, because think about it. You want to stop Bryce Huff, that's fine. You're going to have to leave Jalen Carter one-on-one, who's tossing Mekhi Becton with one arm.
Who's an enormous human being.
You want to double Jalen Carter? All right, then Bryce Huff's going to have an easier lane off the edge. Remember, you also have Jordan Davis, who most likely will eat up 1.5, 2 blockers. So that defensive line is going to be a big unit, tough to handle, and I think that could make it a little easier for Bryce Huff, but we'll see how it goes.
You know what I'll say here? I think there's a lot of people that are down on this player, and I even think that maybe you are a tad bit, but, Clint loves Josh Sweat. He says he's maybe one of the best 3-down linemen they have. He asked me, and I said, well, he played almost 900 snaps last year. They had no help for the kid. He ran out of gas in the second half of the season, as everyone else did on that defense. And I don't know, Zander, I think you're going to see a bounce back year from him, because I think he is one of their better 3-down guys. Are you going to see 11, 12 sacks? That I don't think so, but I wouldn't be shocked if I saw 8 sacks.
Yeah.
The guy's productive. He's a good left end. He's a solid guy. He contributes to the defense and setting the edge. I think he's going to have a better season, because Vic's going to put him in better positions, in my opinion, to be able to succeed.
He should. He was before last season, when he got wildly inconsistent, he was kind of on an upward trajectory. He's also a prototypical edge rusher. He's got the proper build for it. He just played far too many snaps last year, but the inconsistency killed us. In one day you got a great defensive end. On the other day, he was non-existent. And I said, the same point about Bryce Huff, you could say about Josh Sweat. In a way, defenses are going to have to take Jalen, Jordan, Bryce Huff, and maybe Milton before they even address, stopping Josh Sweat. So in a way, that it's kind of a mismatch heaven for him. He's going to have his opportunity to get after the quarterback. But you're right. What's the rotation look like? Is Nolan Smith going to be a viable option? Because that's going to play a big part as well. If you can keep Josh Sweat fresh because you're giving snaps to Nolan Smith, he's going to be a much more productive player like he was in years past. But if you get back into that 800, 900 snap range, I would forget about it. I don't think he's built for that. Remember, he had that catastrophic knee injury, Dan. He almost was done football. And I think that affects you when you're getting up to the.
He's got dog years on him, Zander.
Exactly.
If he's got 5 years in the NFL, he's probably got 9-year knees.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. I think he's in good. I think he's going to have a chance to have a good year, but I want to see it. I want to see it. I'm not going to say he's going to be great until I see it from him.
Hey, Sean, that's really cool of you down there in Hotlanta. We really appreciate that, dog. Keep spreading the word. That's how you do this stuff here, is by word of mouth. And thank you so much for the super chat, man. I really appreciate that.
Appreciate you, Sean. Thank you, man.
Zander, you got time for a couple more here?
Yeah, a couple more minutes I can give you, Sills.
All right, man. Well, let me do this here then. I'm going to do 3 more. Let's go here. Man, this Quinyon Mitchell kid. Talent, work ethic, attitude. Every single thing that you want in a rookie. And then what I'm hearing is this, step-for-step stuff. Just needs technique work. And you got AJ, who's you know what I love about what AJ's doing here? AJ's allowing the personality to come out of the player. He's not shutting him down. And what I mean by that is, you know how important that is to build up ego for a corner? And you don't have a guy sitting there going, shut the hell up, shut your fucking mouth, rookie. Yeah. You don't have that out of AJ. AJ's kind of bringing him along, and I really love that. And you're seeing that. And I got to tell you, man, kudos to AJ Brown for allowing that kind of competition to go on in camp. And the kid wants to compete with him, and it's making him better and better each and every single day. I'm a Teron Arnold guy. However, so far, so good. Both guys may end up being one day the both starting corner all pros.
Yeah, I think that's what you're getting into here.
You may have that dynamic between these two guys.
That's where I think we're getting into. I think both are going to be great players. It's kind of a pick your poison. Quinyon does fit our scheme a little bit better than Teron Arnold does. So I think that's part of maybe that's part of it. So if they both pan out, we might end up with the guy that fits us a little bit better anyway. But boy, it's been great. I mean, you know, again, we talked to BLJ this morning, who was down there at practice, not just John McMullen, but a second guy now. And he's like, it's been impressive. I mean, they're moving him all around. Now, I think maybe one thing you could be concerned about is he hasn't gotten any of those first team reps on the outside to start. He had a couple of them, but they weren't the real first team reps versus AJ and Devontae. He's been mostly lined up in the slot. Maybe that's because of Cooper DeJean being out. Maybe it's, maybe that's just how they want to work him into it. He has played outside, but, ideally, you want him to be the starting outside corner opposite Darius Slay. That's where when you draft a guy 22 overall, you need him at that money position on the outside. And I think he'll get there. But overall, very good signs coming out of camp on Quinyon Mitchell. I think he's going to be a great player. By the way, the Eagles put up a video of him versus AJ. It was really good.
One more thing on that. What do you make of the secondary not making any plays whatsoever? Very few bat downs. The Keely Ringo thing. Mm-hmm. You dropped the bat. There's no plays in a week where you go, nice job. I mean, or picks or like deflections or any of that. I mean, it's camp, dude. I mean,
yeah.
Again, it's July. You're right. You're shaking your head. And then
no, you're right. I mean,
it's July 31st. I'm not wigging out. I'm just saying, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something to monitor. I mean, remember, coming into camp, coming into the season, there's questions about this defense. So I know we're excited about Quinyon. We're all excited about the young guys and Keely Ringo, Isaiah Rodgers. Let's see. Even Darius Slay, he's 34 now? I mean, he's an old 33 or 34.
33.
Yeah. So, but I think he turns 34 in the year or whatever. But so, I think it's going to have to be a wait and see. The one thing I don't like about this defense is, and it's more the scheme, you're not going to change. And I think we have the best guy to run the scheme, but I just hate the style of defense we play in Philly. Let me go
to this now. Here, I got 2 more here. This one. Vic Fangio, and I heard you this morning. Huss, he's the Donald Trump of D coordinators. Control and contain, and he's going to be the most conservative guy you've ever seen. He's not going to give a shit about 20 to 20. He's going to care about 20 to end zone. Yeah. That's all he cares about. Plus 25 plays. He doesn't think your quarterback can make in a 12-play drive. He does not think he's not going to not make a mistake. Okay? Hey, Sills, don't hold up. Wait a minute. No. Wait a minute. Listen, Zander, listen here. You got the show wrong up in focus. This is about dudes not agreeing or agreeing. This is
this motherfucker wouldn't say shit to me if he saw me on the street. I'll tell you where to meet me. You won't meet me for nothing. You'll cry behind your little computer screen like you are right now. Send me your $5, which I appreciate, and I'll take it and I'll use it. and you won't say nothing to me in person. That's the kind of guy you are. I can tell. You're calling me a pussy. Look at you, dude. You're sending $5 super chats to chirp me, sending me money so we give you some attention. Come on, man. What a clown.
This is too fucking good today.
The internet warriors are out.
Hey, this is too good today, man. Hold on. So here's
my channel, dork. Get the fuck out of here.
Multiple fronts, conservative. I mean, I think Vic has really done a nice job at putting a good scheme together for these young players. I got to tell you, man, between him and Kellen's going to try to evolve the offense. It's a total motion offense. There is no question that these two guys, and I said this about Kellen, Huss, they gave him a facelift. Kellen gave that offense a facelift. It's motions, guys meeting in the slot, all shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think both these coordinators are absolutely giving these both sides of the football. I think they're giving them facelifts, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's what Kellen Moore brings. That's why they hired this guy. It's a different set of eyes. It's an experienced guy that, has put, and look, this is what we talked about a little bit with the difference between him and Shane Steichen. I think he's going to force, Jalen to get better at the things he's not great at. Shane, in a way, kept him coddled, in what he was good at with using the legs. I think Kellen Moore is going to force him to get that ball around, force him to move the football. And you're right. It's a good word for it. It's a facelift on the offense with the motion and all those things. And I think it's a big thing. I think it can help a lot.
Well, I think we had ourselves a heck of a segment today. And listen, I know you love Jalen Kaepernick. I totally know you love him. He's going to win a lot of games for you. He's totally going to win a lot of games. He better win a lot of games. Prescott.
I can't figure it out. Like, I understand your criticisms of Jalen Hurts, but I can't for the life of me figure out why you're so soft on Dak Prescott. 9 years
on him.
Oh my God, you're soft.
I just said he's a better passer. You're taking it into being that I think he's better than John Elway. I never said that.
My boy, you are soft as Charmin.
I never said that. I never said that
Dak
about
Prescott.
him. He's a better pocket passer. It's proven.
Okay,
year in and year out, it's proven.
Sam Bradford.
That's how you win.
Sam Prescott.
Oh, good. Hey. We'll agree to disagree.
Dak Bradford. What's better, Sam Prescott or Dak Bradford?
I'm pulling for Jalen Kaepernick. I totally am. I can't wait. Hey, by the way, this year is going to be one of the greatest years in Big Sil's life. Are you crazy? If you don't finish in the top 3 in offense and you don't win the NFC, it's a failure season. Remember that because of the money you're spending. And that season last year, you scored 26 points a game and had 8th in offense total. That's going to be quite a figure to beat.
Yeah, agreed.
And you won 11 games.
We'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be a good year for the Eagles this year. I think you're very soft on the Cowboys. It's interesting.
I said they're going to win 5 games.
Yeah, and you think Dak Prescott's like the greatest quarterback to ever grace the league. It's like insane.
He's making that up. I never said that. I said he's better than your guy.
That's
what I said.
That's
what I said. I mean, yeah. I never said he was the greatest quarterback of all time. I never said that. All right.
Okay. He hasn't won anything, so I don't care that he's a good passer. I don't care. I really don't.
I know. He won the NFC champion. He won the NFC championship, Jalen. He's 2-3 in the postseason.
I'll take the winner.
I know. I got you, man.
You take the passer, I'll take the winner.
Okay, that's right. Well, he ain't a winner in the postseason. He's 2-3.
Well, he went to the Super Bowl. He's done
more. I got it. But let's be fair here. His record's 2-3.
Yeah, well, so is every quarterback that's ever been worth anything.
Hey, folks, you don't know.
Outside of Brady and Mahomes, I mean.
Hey, you really don't know how true that is until you look the numbers up and you go, Mahomes is 15-3.
Let me answer Elizabeth here. She says, where does Zander learn those words? I learned them from Big Cells. That's where I learned. I learned them from Big Cells. That's who taught me those words.
Elizabeth, you better go away, man. Hey, Prince, thank you guys so much. Zander, where are we?
Let me check it out. I think Prince is keeping us track. He says
he is, man. He's been awesome today.
Yeah, 253 from Prince. Prince is spot on. Appreciate you, Prince. Love you, brother. One of our best viewers.
Elizabeth, you better go away here, man, before Zander doesn't give you a wrench and he hits me in the head with it. Zander, great stuff tomorrow. Normal show tomorrow?
Yeah. Yep. All week. And then next week we're gonna be we're gonna be late for the first 3 days because they got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They're at camp. So they got their 4 straight days. I guess you could call it their dog days of summer for the modern NFL, 4 straight days. But that's what's going to be the schedule. Regular times for the rest of the week. Remember, they got the open practice tomorrow, Sills.
Yep. They had a walkthrough today, right?
Yeah, they had a walkthrough today. Now, I think their practice might start tomorrow night, right around.
Oh, is that for the fans to go to Lincoln Financial?
Yeah. So wait, real quick before I get out of here, let me just say when it is. It's tomorrow is what? August 1st?
Yes.
Yeah. So 2:20 video conference, 6:10 p.m. Nick Sirianni presser, and then 6:30 practice. So they're starting right as your show ends. So stay tuned, everybody, tomorrow for the National Football Show, and then coming right out of it, they'll go
like
right
a
into
pregame show.
Yeah, we're like the pregame show to the practice tomorrow. So good stuff. I'd love to hear if anybody in the chat is going down there for the practice. A lot of times people do go down. It's a pretty fun event. I won't be down there. I got a lot of work to do, but I'd be interested to see if anybody's going.
How about this, dude? Before I get you out of here. So it's Bears and Texans tomorrow?
Yeah,
the first Hall of Fame game? The first exhibition game's tomorrow? I thought it was next. We're right here already.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Wait,
don't forget to check.
Real quick. This is what I hate about the modern NFL. You draft a guy, Caleb Williams, and I get it. You got to protect him. I get it. You don't have to sell. I understand. But they're not even going to put him out there for a play. He's never played a down in the NFL. The modern NFL is weird with things, man. I would love to see these guys get out there. It's football. You can't legislate injuries. It happens.
I bet
get him out there.
Plays a little.
What's that?
I bet you Stroud plays a little.
He would be one I'd be all right with because I know what
I heard D'Amico Ryan say first team's going to get at least. Oh
yeah, so maybe that's more D'Amico probably than anything. Yeah, D'Amico's a hard-nosed dude. Roll Tide, D'Amico, Alabama guy through and through. So good stuff. I love D'Amico Ryans. I would have loved him in Philly. Boy, what a difference that would have been.
What a great coach.
I digress. Let's not get into that right now.
Absolutely, man. All right. So tomorrow, don't forget, Birds 365. Outstanding today, Zander. Way to stick up for your guys. Love it. Always battling with Big Sills. He was punching behind the scenes before he even came out of here. So he's here to defend the Philly faithful, as always. But he's critical, too, when he needs to be. So don't forget to catch him tomorrow, Birds 365. Hit the like button, Zander. Thanks a lot, brother.
Appreciate you, Sil.
You got it, man. Hit that like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.